vanguard.edu to learn more.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
What's my name?
Are you Ellie?
Miss Mary Jane, I'm analyzing the game.
And the game done chose me.
To bring pain to pretty women and fake thugs, one and the same.
Ever since you told me
There's only room for two. I've been making less room for you.
now only God can hold me.
Hug me, love me, judge me. The only man that hovers above me. Holla.
I met so many men and it's like they're all the same. My appetite for loving is now my hunger pain. And when I'm feeling sexy, who's gonna comfort me? My only problem is their insecurity.
Tired of being alone.
Yeah, yeah,
Still arguing on the phone.
yeah, yeah,
Why you telling all your friends?
yeah, yeah.
You nigga don't understand.
Cause I'm real.
The way you walk, the way you look, the way you talk,
I'm real.
the way you say, the way you look.
Your style, your hair,
I'm real.
the way you smile, the way you smell, it drives me wild.
I'm real.
And I can't go on without you.
You were checking out the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. J-Lo, Ja Rule, I'm Real. She got in trouble for that song, remember?
Why?
Because she used the N-word in that song years ago, remember?
I do remember that, yeah.
Letting them up, and she was, Ja Rule wrote the lyrics, I just sang them. She was like, she put out a whole apology and everything. By the way,
Should have been in the top 50.
yeah, I'm about to say, I think we have our 7. I said some night this week. I was talking about doing it tomorrow, but we got a special, by the way, programming note. Tomorrow, we used to do versus battles on the show when Robin was on the show, right? And I was like, we got to bring a new sort of music show that, steps outside the lines and just has some fun with like rankings and charts and such. And here's what I want to do. We already had March Madness with NCAAs a few months ago. We just had the NBA playoffs, right? And the NFL draft is coming. Is that next month or this month?
NBA draft next week.
Next week, right? And I'm like, what if we did like, instead of like March Madness, instead of the Sweet 16, we do like the Heat 16, something like that. That's just off the dome. I choose a category, male R&B artists per se, right? And I say, I'm going to choose the 16 male R&B artists of the 90s, I'll bracket it that way.
Okay.
I'll bring those artists in. I'll have somebody sit alongside me here, and I will tell them who they are. They can add to the list or subtract from the list. We officially come up with our 16, and then we seed them accordingly. They come in next week. We break that thing down to 8. When we break that thing down to 2, to 4, and then to 2. And then we will officially determine who is the number 1.
Are you picking a song from the artist too, or are you just picking the artist?
We can have fun with it. We can go artists. We can go song later. We could, doesn't matter.
Okay.
But right now, we'll just do artists.
Okay, and the guest is gonna decipher.
I'm
who
gonna
wins.
give them my 16, and they're gonna tell me maybe I'm missing somebody. I will, weigh that whether or not I agree. I'm willing to take 1 out or 2 out if I have to.
Okay.
We'll officially come up with the 16, but then we gotta seed them.
So you're gonna do it together.
We're gonna do it together.
Okay.
So, and I think it'll be fun.
You're gonna have to provide some like parameters and stuff like that.
This is my list. In my list.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm inviting someone in to come in and debate me and tell me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, we'll do it tomorrow, and I'll say, because we've debated it a number of times on this show, Who is the greatest male R&B, 90s R&B voice? We've done that a number of times. And I always say it's Tyrese, jokingly, of course.
Right.
He on the list.
Okay.
If you're choosing 16 cats, Tyrese is on that freaking
Definitely
list.
could fill that list up for sure.
So it's like, I'll come up with 16. I'll officially say it now, tomorrow. The best 90s, male R&B 90s artists of all time. Right?
Okay.
And I'll come up with 16. I'll bring them in. I'll bring in somebody to sit alongside me. We'll debate it. We'll come up with and we'll see them, and we'll have some fun.
All right.
Cool?
Sounds good.
We will do that tomorrow, okay? Special edition of the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. Hey, by the way, people are still in the thread. Terry Tari said, it's even worse if the person is an acquaintance or new friend. It's like you set yourself up to fail for asking that question. Will cause you to lose new friends. It's like how you were on Jeopardy. First of all, I was never on Jeopardy. I was on Wheel of Fortune. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. But I don't even know what that means. Forensic accountant said, incredible, push racism too much? She sounded ignorant from word one. Yeah, talking about the clip that I played of the queen that was just putting down Black Lives Matter and whether or not we should celebrate Juneteenth. I don't think any black person in America could push back against celebrating Juneteenth, can they?
No.
To tie it to Black Lives Matter, I thought was off-putting to begin with, but you can't say, I don't celebrate that because ... What's your reason? We became free. How do you not celebrate that?
The one thing I do agree with her, though, is the whole black-on-black crime thing. I understand that black-on-black crime does not exist.
Yeah, some people hate that phrase. A lot of people do.
Understood. It's a proximity thing. I get that 100%.
No doubt.
But I always look at, like, considering the cards that we were dealt here in America as a way to combat white supremacy. If we had to title it, I would title it black on black crime, which I feel we just had a young brother who just got shot and killed. Quincy Reese Jr.
Still troubled by that.
And it's still, for me, it baffles me that there's no marches going on.
I ain't gonna front. I don't see a lot of people talking about it on social media either.
I mean, come on now.
And I'm on all the black sites, especially in Black LA.
So I understand one of the main reasons that folks march is when the police, who's supposed to protect and serve,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, when they do wrong. But for me, as a black person, I just feel like you should be enraged every time. We should be marching every time. But you know what, though? I just think, I don't know if it's being complicit. I don't know if it's, I can't even think of the word, desensitized.
Yeah, that's definitely that.
Like, come on, man. Like, Quincy Reese, he had, according to the news report that I watched, he had at least 50 plus colleges wanting to come see him during his senior year.
I'm sure. He was athletic. He was a baller and a 3.4 GPA.
Come on.
Oh, they coming.
Why are we not marching out on these streets?
I mentioned a number of shows ago that Andy and I, after practically every show, I can't deny it, I got to get out of here, but I can't deny it, but practically after every show, we have a powwow, just talking about the show, talking about things that are going on surrounding the topic of conversation we just talked about on the show. And we were discussing why black people don't come forward when there is a murder in our neighborhoods. And I tried to break it down to him. And I know he already knows this, but it's kind of tough for some people to understand. They go, you know what, if somebody killed my family member, everybody should be up there determining, like, talking to the cops about what he looked like and what type of car he was driving. I got a license plate number and what clothes he had on and such. And I go, it's easier to say, easier said than done. Because what you're saying is you want that person to, one, identify who did it. And then two, they got to go to court and identify that person live in court. It's tough. People are scared. They're scared. Now, have I ever seen anyone retaliate against someone that is called out who murders their family member, go to court and testify that that's the person? Because in court, you literally have to point at that person. That person right there killed my son. You do that. I don't know if anyone where there was retaliation for that happening. Maybe there is. I haven't heard of anybody. But I think a lot of people are afraid of that because, especially in a smaller city, and you know who killed your baby, and you go to court and you say, it was that cat right there. I've known him for 20 years. He shot my son. I saw it. I know what car he drives. I know what time it was, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you know who's in the courtroom listening? His family, your family, the neighborhood, the city, everybody saying, she locking up Tyrone. That's a problem. People are scared, man. Is there a way for police departments to say, you know what, you can come and testify behind a silhouette or something? I don't know. But I think more black people would step up if they knew that their lives wouldn't be in danger for doing so. That, at least from my standpoint, that's what I see.
I agree with you 100%. You know, and as you were talking, it got me thinking about rest in peace Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
There was a lot of flack that Cowboy got.
Yeah.
For going on to the stand.
Right. And
it's like, kind of like what you were saying. You would think that we would applaud somebody like a Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
But considering what he represents, there's another set of rules that he has to abide by.
Mm.
And, he got flack for going to the court and going on the stand.
Because, as we've said for years in our neighborhood, snitches get stitches. That right there has been a mantra in the neighborhoods for as long as I can remember. It's crazy. Like, you are almost treated as a G if you shoot another king. But if you have seen the shooting and say something to the authorities about it, you are a coward. You are a snitch. It makes no sense. And I'm with you, man. I am not going to sit here and rationalize that behavior. Y'all hear on the Danny Mo show all the time. I say, you will never. Matter of fact, what's his name? Nazarene the other night tried. He failed because there is no argument you can give me. There is no rationalizing that you can give me for taking the life of another brother. Like I said, self-defense, yeah. Come in your house, yeah. Other than those two things, protecting your family, always. Other than those two things. Killing somebody over the shoes he's wearing, or the color he got on, or the neighborhood he's in, or the car he's driving, or the woman he's with, or $10 he might owe you, that's insanity to me. Are you serious? So, are we desensitized? Yeah. But, man, we are just so broken, We're just so frustrated, and it's been so long, and we're waiting to turn the corner, and it's just tough. And it's really difficult when I listen to the older African Americans in my family talk about, man, they've been talking about the same issues 50, 60 years ago that we are talking about today. And we talk about there's been a lot of progress. Okay, there's been some. But has there been enough? And what do we have to do to stop killing each other? What is that one? I'm telling you, man. It all ties together. There is never an excuse for any law enforcement officer to put a bullet in us, ever, okay? However, I think they don't value us because we don't value ourselves, man.
Boom.
We don't value ourselves, man. They feel that they can do it because, okay, you heard that queen on the clip that I played for in East Rochelle. She was like, well, it's black-on-black crime, and we shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth because of the black-on-black crime. I said, you can make the case. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying you can make the case. How dare we harm one another? And I try to convey to my beautiful audience out there, man, there's a large segment of the population that want to see us dead, man. They want to see us gone. Remember I made the case months ago. I said, how often do you see an indigenous American, an American Indian, as they say? How often? Not very often, huh? How often do you see one just in the streets, at the mall, hanging out at the grocery store? How often? Not very often. That could be us. We ain't nothing but 12, 13% of the population. That could be us. We are being exterminated at a disproportionate rate, and ain't nobody paying attention. How dare we harm one another at the same time? We're doing their work for them. So yeah, if somebody harmed my baby, I'm on the stand, man. It's that cat right there. And this is what happened. Because that's my baby. It's on and cracking. I'm going to say something. I don't know about nobody else. I'm going to say something. Andy?
Nah, just, you nailed it on the head. We don't value each other. And I think if we did, there would be no such thing as black on black crime, even though it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But I just think we would be so much stronger. We would have a united front.
Yeah.
So we just got to find a way to, instill value. But I like what Anise said, and I think Nazarene kind of said it. We got to touch the youth. I think my generation and your generation, lost cause. And I hate to even say that, but
I can't disagree. Statistics don't lie. I pose this question to my beautiful listeners tonight. If I was able to round up all the law enforcement organizations in this country, and we came to a head that no more black people will be murdered by an officer, no more, especially unarmed African Americans, no more, starting tonight, you ain't gonna have no more officers shooting black people. We good? Is the community good? Are we on track? The answer is hell no, it's not. I'm not saying it's not a problem. It's obviously a problem. But we know where our problems are. We don't love each other. We don't support one another. We don't embrace one another. That's why every time I see kings, I hug them, man, and it still trips them out. They look at me like, who's this fool hugging me? Who's this Bakersfield fool hug? I don't care, man. Come here. Bring it in. They try to shake my hand, business-like. I slap their hand away. Come here.
And I felt the same way, Danny. When I met you, I was just like, I loved it. I love the energy, but I was just like, this is new. You don't get this too much.
I do it all the time. I'm spread love, man. Like Anise Rochelle's book, I spread love. I slap their hand. Come here. And a lot of times I go, I love you, King. And hey, you should see him. Like, what? When was the last time they heard another man tell them, I love you? Women all the time. How many times has a man looked at you, a black man, in the face and said, I love you?
I ain't gonna lie, it's still kind of hard for me to even say that to my homies. I love you, dog.
See, that's crazy. I don't know why.
It just, I've said it, but it's just, the little bit of awkwardness.
We got to get past that.
I'm with you.
1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we would talk to Sherelle on the phone. Sherelle, Fox Hill Smile, Danny. It's Fox Hill Smile. Shush, right now. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA. Stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Leroy 71's backed up. What's your 20? Over.
Olivia needs more drivers for her trucking company to go the extra mile.
3 more stops to make.
She wants to hitch a team to drive business forward.
Lots of double nickels on the 169. You know what I'm over? This driver shortage.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go to the phones real fast. Sherelle's on the phone. Sherelle, give me your height, your color, and your hood. Queen, come on.
How you doing? 5'6", Carmel, and Gardena.
Gardena, check it in, drop it. What you waiting for? Let's go. What's on your mind tonight, Queen?
You always crack me up. What's on my mind is talking about how we really self-hate, how our community, how can we fix that? And you hit the nail on the head when you said the youth.
Yeah.
We have to start when they are from babies to their impressionable point to about 5 or 6, I would say. And then teach them how to deal with people who are insecure, like bullies, teach them how to deal with that. They go from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then somewhere around 4th, 5th grade is, I'm better than you, all of this stuff going on. And they need to learn how to deal with that. And once our youth learn how to deal with that, I think they'll love each other enough to not have to shoot somebody. Not have to, just because you with somebody, your homeboys or whatever, shoot somebody. It just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
And it breaks my heart too, Sherelle, because I've always pushed on any platform that I've been a part of is I want kids to be kids. I want young black boys and girls to be kids. It seems like not only society, but I think our communities always try to move these kids along a little too fast. Like, I don't know how many videos I've seen on social media where, you'll see some 5-year-old girl, twerking in the middle of a living room with the entire family applauding. And it infuriates me when I see that. Or how many times have you seen, somebody listening to hardcore hip hop in their car and their 6 and 7-year-olds are in the back seat? And I'm like, can we just let them be kids? And it just breaks my heart on what you're saying, what we should do, which probably is something that we should do. I got to have those conversations with my child. I got to have my conversation with a 5 and 6-year-old child that you should not be putting harm on nobody, and you shouldn't shoot nobody, and you shouldn't kill nobody, and you should respect everybody. I mean, the respect conversation goes without saying. But as far as physical, I have to have a physical violence conversation with my 5-year-old child? Only black people got to do that. That's unfortunate. That's unfair too. But I understand it's the reality of the situation.
It is the reality, and we have to just teach. The elders have to come. We used to be a village, and I'm an old Black Panther thinking, kind-minded person. They infiltrated our communities when they gave out the welfare. They said the man cannot be present if this woman is going to receive this money for these kids. That was stated, period. So where's the man going to go?
Yeah, I grew up in an era to where if a woman was on welfare, not only could the man not be in the household, the what do they call them, agents? I don't know what they would call the ones that used to come door to door. They used to walk through your house and check to see if there was a man that is living there. They used to ensure that if we're going to give you this money, if we're going to give you these food stamps, if we're going to give you these WIC vouchers, you better not have a penis in the building. And they would make sure, walk in the closets and everything, and you better not have no clothes in the closet. And I go, wow, this is really the dismantling of the African-American community right here, to make sure no black men are around. We going to control your finances. You don't need 10 black men no more. And then we're going to fill up the prisons at the same time. That's why when you toss out conspiracy, I go, I don't know if that's a conspiracy. That's real talk.
And it started before that, but I'm not going to go into any history. But last thing I'm going to say is I watched a special on Frederick Douglass the other day. And there was a doctor on there, and they asked this doctor, they said, well, if you had anything that you would want to do for the young people in this country, black people in this country. And he said, I would love to have more male black teachers from grades kindergarten to 6th grade.
Yeah, Andy asked that question last night, and I think that is so true. I think you would impact especially the young kings, queens too. But man, there is scientific proof out there. I don't have the statistics in front of me that young black boys just tend to respond better when there's a black male teacher at the front of the class.
Indeed.
But they don't want to pay them, though. I don't blame these black men are saying, I'm not going into that profession because they're not paying us. And there's a more volatile population of black kids out there, too. So I got to deal with more rowdy black kids. And you ain't going to pay me? And the curriculum, they're changing on the fly, it seems like. It's tough. It's really tough. They need to pay every teacher, elementary school and up, 6 figures. They should be getting 6 figures out the gate. There's some elementary school teachers getting 40, 50 grand a year. And that is, you go to college, you know, you learn, you're intern, you do the whole 9. And then you come in and you got to deal with these kids, and they paying you 40 grand. The same amount of money you could probably get working at McDonald's. It's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't a school considered like a nonprofit though?
No.
It's not?
No.
So how do schools get their money then? Schools,
man, they get funded by the state. Yeah, they get state funding. Yeah, that's how they run it. And still, schools have unions. There's no way that thing is a nonprofit.
Okay.
and the toughest unions in the entire country too, by the way.
Well, they need to add more. They need to allocate more funds to education. Then.
Well, they do allocate more funds as it relates to the African American community. They do in some communities. They do, but then they misappropriate the funds and use it for something else later. They get the money from the state and say we're gonna use it for this, and then once they get the money, they go, well, we'll also use it for this. Don't get me started, man. Sherelle, by the way, give Sherelle a call tonight. Come on now. What was that? What we doing? Calling all the way from. And it's not the Fox Hills Mall. It's the Westfield Center or whatever it's called now. Don't y'all leave me out here by myself. Don't y'all leave me out here by myself. I get criticism saying he ain't even from LA, and then I go and prove to everybody that I'm not from LA.
What you call it? Swap meet? What did you call it?
It's on the building. It's called the Slauson Super Mall. That's so wrong. She laughing at me. She laughing at her boy. Andy, you see that? She laughing at me. Terrell, get out of here. I love you, though. Get out of here.
All right. Bye, y'all.
I remember I went to the Slauson Super Mall meet, whatever y'all want to call it. And I was surprised. Like, you walk up in there. Matter of fact, before you walk in there, the entire parking lot is all, you see our rides out there, You see some caddies out there, We up in there. Don't get it twisted. Matter of fact, there's a car wash I've mentioned on the broadcast before. Right to the right, all Kings out there polishing up the rims, doing their thing. I'm like, look at this. Black owned and operated. It's fire. Then you go inside the building. That is you are so wrong. I'm not going to put that on the mic. We ain't in there. We ain't in there, y'all. I'm sorry. Most of the businesses I saw in there, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, half Asian, half Latino. A few white people, too. And I don't recall one black-owned business that I saw in there. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a black person that owns it, and they're having somebody non-black run the operation once they're not there. From what I saw, and I'll be looking. Sometimes I'll be asking. I'm like, all black people shopping there. Ain't no black people running businesses up in there? Really? And near the front door, there was a jewelry operation, right? First time I went in there, there's a jewelry operation right next to the front door. And it's ran by, I think, Asian people. There was a line of 10 queens in line when I went up in there. Real talk. They're like 10 queens, and they got the babies, and they're sitting there waiting for whatever. And I go, man, we are missing an opportunity, man. This should be us. This should be us. 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward upon further review clips, they are all podcast related to. Pretty good content I want you to hear on the other side. This is the Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
Nighttime is the right time for Danny Morrison on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The chair of the Federal Reserve says inflation has moderated, but there's still a long way to go to get it to 2%. Jerome Powell spoke about the Fed's decision to leave interest rates unchanged for the first time in more than a year. Most officials anticipate 2 more rate increases to come this year. The Fed had raised rates by a total of 5% since March of 2022 in an effort to battle rising inflation. A Greenville, South Carolina civil rights leader is calling for a boycott of the city's upcoming Juneteenth celebration. Paul Guy, who is executive director of Justice Intervention Initiative, claims the event organizers and city government administration promote systemic racism and goes against the principles of equality and justice. This year's week-long event, which is underway and runs through Saturday, already drew controversy well before this week. And that's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Earn your bachelor's, master's, or nursing degree in the classroom or online at Vanguard University. Ranked as a top 10 university in the West by U.S. News & World Report for 12 consecutive years. At Vanguard, your story matters. Visit vanguard.edu to learn more.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Keep following the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Something new is happening in California's public schools.
They're called community schools.
One of the foundations of community schools is shared decision making,
where parents and families, students and educators make decisions as one.
Community schools lift the voices of folks that have traditionally been underserved.
Many of our classes are designed around our own students' cultures, their background, their personal experiences.
We bring culturally relevant curriculum to the classroom based on what their specific needs are.
Improving student achievement and innovative classes like cybersecurity and gardening.
And we assist families with their needs.
Some schools have parent education programs, cooking and nutrition classes.
Everything from medical or dental services to immigration law services.
This is a one-stop shop that serves the needs of not just the students, but their families as well.
They're California's community schools, reimagining public education. Paid for by the California Teachers Association.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, man.
Sip the juice. I got enough to go
and the thought takes place uptown. I grew up on a sidewalk while on street talk, and then taught to Hawk, New York. I go to Queens for Queens to get the food from Brooklyn. Make money in Manhattan and never been tooken. Go uptown to the Bronx and boogie down, get strong on the island, recoup and lay around. Time to build my juice back up, pop stack up, suckers get smacked up. Don't doubt the clout, you know what I'm about. Knocking niggas off, knocking niggas out, shaking them up, waking them up, breaking them up, breaking them up. Standing on shaky ground, too close to the edge. Let's see if I know the ledge.
I'm gonna say, I mean, stepping up to the ledge sometimes. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA Talk 1580. Know the ledge, Rakim, to God. You know that's the second best song on that album, right? That Juice soundtrack. You know what the number one is, right? You know what I'm gonna say. Don't you leave me out there by myself.
Don't be afraid.
No.
Don't be afraid.
That Aaron Hall's fire too. No, number one is, right?
What?
That Enough Respect due from Big Daddy Kane. If you don't give me a taste of that right now, that right there, can we make sure it's clean? Is that okay? Enough Respect due from Big Daddy Kane off the Juice soundtrack is one of the all-timers, man. He shreds that track, man. Even better than The God, I ain't gonna lie, man. And I love me some Rakim. But Big Daddy Kane, Enough Respect due. He got so many hits, man. And when he was in studio here at KBLA talking to Tavis, man, it was like, oh my God. Like, I cannot believe I'm in the same room with Big Daddy Kane, who I've been worshiping for practically all of my adult life. And he was like sitting right there, took a picture, did a promo for the show. It's on my socials for those that haven't seen it nor heard it, but it was just really crazy. Like, Big Daddy Kane is like right here. So weird. I've seen him in concert and the whole nine. But to have him, yeah, is that it? Come on. Yeah. Yeah. It is the remix. That's not the right beat. But give me a little verse, a little bit.
Into the dragon, as I start the wagon, attacking the state, I'm bagging the rappers on the bandwagon. Feel the fury of a renegade, well men are slaves, so send the aid, cause I penetrate. Being a mess up, well lyrics I dress up, so don't even mess up, but trying to press up, it's better to fess up.
Cause if a rapper ever goes too far, man, I start to swinging on MCs like Tarzan. What?
So witness the glare when I appear, none to compare.
So take a seat in the rear, child, you gotta understand. You're just a man, sit next to the man, sit next to the man, sit next to the man. Woo!
And no one fire comes higher than number science, fucking them out like a lock wire.
That's no. Now that's the remix, and I don't like the remix, but tell me that's not better than The God. Know the Ledge is fire, and that album is fire, but I don't know about that. Matter of fact, you can rank that bad boy. We were talking about the best hip-hop soundtracks of all time. Matter of fact, best black soundtracks of all time. Maybe we'll do that show as well. That one right there, that Juice soundtrack, that bad boy's up there.
Above the Rim.
Above the Rim is right there. But when you start blending in the R&B soundtracks, you know, everybody's going to bring in yo boomerangs, and they're going to bring in Waiting to Exhales, and they're going to bring in all that. And those would be accurate, no doubt. Can we get into it? Maybe Bodyguard. Is Bodyguard an R&B soundtrack? Not sure about that. That's not it. You still trying to find the original? That's not it either. That's not it either. Don't worry about it. Let's get to these clips, man. That's it. Okay, see, now you gotta give me a taste. Come on. Come on. Into the dragon.
Into the dragon. As I start the rain, attack this nigga, the banging the rappers on the bandwagon. Feel the fury of a renegade, well men are slaves, so send the aid, cause I penetrate. Being a mess up, well lyrics I dress up, so don't even mess up. I'm trying to press up, it's better to press up. Cause if a rapper ever goes too far, man, I start to swinging on them seats like Tarzan.
See, that's a heater. I used to play that like all the time in my headphones, man. Crazy. All right, let's do it. By the way, Zoe's in the chat. What's up, family? He said, let me see. Mike City produced the Full Moon song for Brandy, and Full Moon is definitely a classic. Yep. I'm not big on it, but, I haven't heard much of it, I'll be honest. Like I said, I kind of jumped off of Brandy a few years before that, but I'm with you. You're not the only one that feels that way, King, that's for sure. Let's get into these clips. Upon further review clips that you all have sent us over the past few days, clips that extend the conversation on some of the topics we've touched on recently on the Danny Mo Show, a podcast-heavy segment tonight. The first clip features rapper Ludacris on the... Are these clean? on the All the Smoke podcast, who is breaking down why he believes some cats ain't ready to do a versus battle, probably because they're not ready to witness the truth about their catalog. Listen.
I was going to say, man, when you talk about catalog, I don't even know if y'all was getting into this. I used to be in radio, so I might get a little bit ahead of you for a second. But what I was going to say was, you can never tell somebody how much of a hit song you have. Like, it may go up the charts, it may hit number one, but in terms of being, like, embedded in hip-hop culture,
right?
We talking about this song, it's 20 years after. So this is 2 decades, and this song is still relevant, humbly speaking. That's when you know you got some you got to wait. You got to wait your records out. That's why doing verses and like that is so dope to me, what Timbaland and Swiss Beats have come up with, because it shows not only the artist, but it shows the rest of the world how records age. It's like you playing your cards and how you play your hand and how, you know, how it's dealt. That can be an ego blow, because some artists, what's so dope about verses, it shows you where the artist ego is at. When them want to play a record that only they think is the and then they play that card and the rest of the world sitting there like, and that's reality. The whole world just showed.
You know who I saw that with, and, you know, God bless the dead. You know who I saw that with?
Who?
DMX.
What do you mean?
On that Versus, I think there was a few tracks that he thought would have more heat when he played them. And standing next to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
It was like, man, it was like the Harlem Globetrotters playing them other cats that they play all the time and beat all the time. It was like, ooh, I thought DMX was going to put up a better battle.
I did think it was going to be
closer.
Close.
You knew Snoop was going to win, but it was like Snoop slaughtered DMX. And he was playing songs I was like, I don't know if that's going to roll.
Exactly. I mean, if you're a huge DMX fan, you probably would have went crazy for it. But, you know, mainstream-wise, Snoop ate him alive. I told you this several times. After that versus, I was just like, I'm sorry. Snoop Dogg is the greatest hip-hop artist of all time.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see. Now you just went too far there.
I'm just saying. After
the greatest of all time?
After watching that?
You going Glasses Malone on the show right now?
I am going Glasses Malone. This ain't the first time I said it, though. I've said it before. It was just something like, you got to understand, DMX is my number 5 rapper of all time, and Snoop is my number 4. So I was definitely looking forward to it. And a lot of the songs that DMX played, I'm like, these are bangers. But in comparison to what Snoop was playing, I was like, oh,
I think
sorry.
DMX has, would you call them regional hits? East Coast, New York.
Rough Riders Anthem ain't regional.
Okay.
Party Up ain't regional.
But I did ask you like a few weeks ago, how many solo hits does he have that aren't posse cuts?
DMX?
Solo.
Rough Riders Anthem.
Yeah.
Party Up.
Yeah.
The record with Cisco. What They Really Want.
Yeah. What They Really Want.
Slipping.
Slipping. Okay.
I mean, he got some haters.
I think you're struggling right now.
I'm not struggling. I just
that's
gave
4.
you 4.
That's 4.
Okay.
A versus is what, 20?
20, yes.
I think that's why he was struggling.
I can't think of 20. I mean, Get At Me, Dog.
You could give me
Stop Being Greedy.
You could give me 20 Snoop tracks in a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm not. I said you
Exactly.
could. I couldn't.
Gin and Juice. I'm not going to go through all that.
We don't have that kind of time. But even if you just went up the timeline of Snoop's career, I mean, you could probably name 20. Now, don't get me wrong. That Dogfather album.
I was just about to say. Majority of the records that he played on that verses, if I remember correctly, was off the Doggy Style album.
Is that the worst album of Snoop's career?
Dogfather? You can make the case. I think his No Limit work was underrated.
That The Game Is To Be Sold was kind of hot.
Absolutely.
Last Meal was kind of hot.
100%.
Dogfather? It looked shaky.
He had a couple records. But, you know, back to Ludacris.
Yeah.
Did you watch his verses with Nelly?
I did not.
Oh, my God. First off, Nelly had issues. He had the whole, what was that, the Babyface, Teddy Riley. He had the Teddy Riley situation going on.
Who, by the way, also played a few songs. Teddy Riley, of course, his audio was messed up, but I think he was playing some songs that he thought had more heat to him. It's like, no.
Exactly. But Nelly, think about it. In 2000, it was Nelly or Ludacris.
That's it.
And Nelly had hits.
Nelly was on the top of the pop charts, not hip-hop. Pop charts.
But when you watch that versus, you were like, Nelly for real? No competition. Ludacris demolished.
This is what Nelly would say. Ludacris got more hits than I do, but I got bigger hits than he would ever have. That Dilemma, come on. Dilemma Hot in Here, Country Grammar, EI, Ride With Me. We could do this all night. Nelly got, Grills. Nelly got hits, boy. And don't even bring up one of my favorite Nelly songs, that My Place with Jaheim. On over to my place. Woo!
Danny, do me a favor.
Woo!
Whether it's tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
Find some time to watch that Ludacris Nelly versus.
I will.
And come back to me.
I'll tell you what. I got to drive to Bakersfield this weekend, and I might mess around and put that in my stereo while I'm driving. I can't watch it. Do I have to watch it, or can I just listen to it?
I mean, you can listen to it, but it's just the visuals kind of aid into the experience.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll give you my assessment next week. And by the way, shout out to Nelly and Ashanti getting back together. I guess that's real. Good for them. Congratulations on that. Love don't usually come back together because they was broken up for what? 15 years? It was 10 or 15. It was out there. That only happens with J-Lo and her man and Ashanti and Nelly. Is that it? 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. I'll give you my second upon further review clip that you all have sent to me on the other side. Danny Morrison Show, KBLA, stay there.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. From middays to nighttime. Like George and Wheezy, Danny Morrison is moving on up at KBLA Talk 1580.
Despite pushback from franchise owners, the Assembly passes Fast Food Workers Bill. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Assembly Bill 1228, known as the Fast Food Franchiser Responsibility Act, authored by Assemblymember Chris Holden, was passed off the Assembly floor with 42 votes in favor of the legislation, while 22 members of the Assembly voted against the bill. Some reasons Holden and supporters of this bill find it necessary is due to the reported wage theft of fast food workers, claims of violence at work, sexual harassment and assault claims, denied sick days, intense heat, poor workplace safety practices, as well as claims of retaliation for speaking out. Holden was reported saying, quote, "This does not imply that all fast food franchises mistreat their workers. It's clear that we must ensure our fast food workers are able to thrive in their workplace and their communities," end quote. Did you know that all City of LA renters have rights? Check out these 3 facts. Residential tenants can't be evicted without reason or just cause. Eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt due before March 31st, 2023. And you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice. 5 days. Many Angelenos may be at risk of losing their home, and that's why we want you to know your rights. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home. If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that's between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022. This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Eligibility criteria apply and funding is limited. For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com. If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022. This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com.
Real talk, real time, the gospel truth. You're listening to the Danny Morrison Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
Look at Terry Tari and Stacey L. Morgan flirting with one another in the YouTube feed. Go ahead, you know what I'm saying? Hey, get a room. Hey, if that's what y'all want to do. Get a little something to drink on. Okay, I tell you what, bubbling within the black zeitgeist. Okay, now there you go. Drink up. All right? And you get a room. I mean, that's what we're here for, to bring people together. I got you. By the way, Marcus Adkins just said that Nelly is the best-selling rapper of the 2000s. I think it's safe to say that's not true. That is a gentleman by the name of Eminem is the best-selling rapper of the 2000s. And to be honest with you, it's not even close. Go on and look them figures up. It's not even close. Eminem dominated the 2000s. I mean, it's crazy how much he dominated the 2000s. Here's a second clip, by the way. It features podcaster and former MC Joe Budden, who is telling us on his podcast that the legacy of Michael Jordan may be the greatest marketing trick of all time. We may have to do a stop and go on this one. Listen.
Michael Jordan is the greatest marketing trick to ever happen, yo. Oh. It's the greatest marketing trick to ever happen.
Whoa.
Greatest marketing trick to ever happen.
Walk back a little bit. I was out there with you.
Greatest marketing trick to ever happen.
Hold on now.
This is what I'm saying, and then you can respond. Pre-Michael Jordan, and if I start getting too obnoxious, then somebody let's move me on.
I think you already
Okay, go on edge.
Go on edge.
No, I have an argument to support what I'm saying.
I want to hear it. Come on.
Pre-Michael Jordan, who were the dominant guards in the league? All time. We ain't got to go through it. Magic, Oscar. You could probably name them on one hand. Pistol Pete. Yeah. You probably can't get past 10 dominant guards all time. That's true. The reason for that, in my opinion, is, you know, the league always highlighted the big man. Yes. I think before they knew any better, the big man was how you know, all that lethargic, throw it in. That's how you get a championship.
Yeah, it's also as far as like the mystique. Not everyone can do this. Like,
not everyone can be 7 feet tall.
Not everyone can be 7 foot.
It's true, right? So let's take that. Enter Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan comes into not only a weak Eastern Conference, but an Eastern Conference where everybody is on coke. A league, rather, where everybody's on coke. They admitted to this, right? While he was over there doing that, Bird and Magic was fighting it out. Like in the whole 80s, they had to fight it out for the best player shit. Mike was over there somewhere learning how to play, learning how to score. By the time he started taking the spotlight from them old, they was just that. Old. In the Dream Team, Doc, you see it.
All right, Paul.
They ain't want nothing to do with Michael.
There was a transition happening when Michael Jordan came into the league, and all of those cats that were dominating the league prior, yeah, he is right. They were starting to die off. The Pistons were getting long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? But people don't forget. People need to understand that Michael Jordan didn't come in the league and start dominating the league. Matter of fact, he didn't get his ring until, the 8th season? I think it was the 8th. I think it's 8, right? 7th season. So there is a misconception out there that Michael Jordan is just the greatest of all time, came out of college and start dominating. Nah, they were getting slapped around by them Pistons and them Celtics for a while. But he is right. They were getting long in the tooth. The cocaine part, I ain't going to speak to that. But as far as them getting old, that's about right. How I go.
Team, Doc, you see it. They ain't want nothing to do with Michael Jordan. He was the man. He took it, right? And then marketing takes over. Because you need a face of the league. David Stern, genius. Michael Jordan now becomes the face of the league. But still in the 90s, what other dominant guards was there? I get Isaiah Thomas in 90, 89, 90, 91. But after that, he was sitting there just dominating these big, slow, bum-ass centers. I'm calling them that, but they wasn't bums.
I know what you mean.
They wasn't bums.
I get what you're saying.
But that's what he did. And he dominated, and nobody was able to get a ring while Michael Jordan played. He was the best we had ever seen. This is where my LeBron argument starts. When LeBron got there, guards got there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them. And they were more athletic. The rules changed too, but they were a lot more athletic, and you had to deal with them in their prime.
Swings and
prime Melo, prime Durant, prime Steph, anybody who was great.
D-Wade.
He had to deal with them in their prime.
Nowitzki even though
they'll knock him for all those trips to the finals without winning, but NBA GMs were literally building teams to only deal with LeBron James. He had to deal with prime Tim Duncan and Pop.
Didn't he go to how many Eastern Conference Finals he went to? Like
a bunch.
It was a bunch.
Like, I don't know. I'm just saying sheerly by the people that he had to face
still dominating.
And what he's done and what he's still doing at 38. He shouldn't be averaging 30 points a game at 38 years old. Like, the tenure in which we've seen him dominate, we've never seen nothing like that before. So, yeah, I'll call Mike maybe the greatest scorer that I've ever seen, maybe, because I don't even know if he's that.
I wouldn't say that. I think Steph is saying that. Steph is the greatest I've ever seen score that basketball, man. Steph is amazing, man. Jordan's still the greatest of all time, though. But you could make the case LeBron should be in the discussion. And it took me some years to get there. Maybe he had to put on that purple and gold to change me up a little bit. I don't know. But I've always had LeBron top 5. I've got him at number 2 all time. And I think it's fair to say most of us should put him there. Andy?
I respect what Joe Budden had to say, and he makes a strong case. But I'm still giving it to MJ.
Yeah, he's number 1.
Period.
You got LeBron at number 2?
No.
Where you got him?
I don't even know where I got LeBron, to be honest with you.
Top 5?
That's something I have to.
Jesus.
That's something I have to look into.
He's the all-time leading scorer.
I'm giving it to Kobe over LeBron, though.
Yeah, we've had that discussion.
Yeah.
I don't see how you still do that. I love Kobe just like you, but come on. Our third clip is pretty eye-opening from the Brilliant Idiots podcast, where Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz are discussing why anyone would ever need to buy a $200 million house like Jay-Z and Beyonce, and the way in which Andrew breaks down the finances of such a purchase. You just might understand why. Listen.
Would you ever want a $200 million house, yo?
I guess it would depend on the house, to be honest with you.
Jay-Z and Beyonce bought a $200 million house in California.
Yeah.
In Malibu.
They're saying they paid all cash for it, too.
Listen, they acting their wage. That's Jay-Z and Beyonce, okay? They got it. But is there ever a reason, I guess is what I'm saying, to have a $200 million house?
Also, the cash thing is like that's not exactly like a real thing.
Well, you can pay cash for your down payment.
But they are saying they paid the whole thing cash. You have to pay cash for your down payment, but...
You do stuff like that for taxes sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, you got to spend the money.
Yeah, I think that what most people in this circumstance do, and I didn't know this until recently, this was even an option, and this is how like people with high net worth can really have a huge advantage in these types of circumstances. You can take a loan out on your assets, use that loan, that line of credit, as cash, buy the property, and then refinance it into a mortgage. So you get all your money back.
Wow.
So you pay off that loan, and now you have a mortgage, right? So that's how a lot of rich people pay all cash for things without actually taking their money out of the stock market or taking their money out of the investments where it's already in. I never understood it. When I would see these people in New York buying their homes all cash, I'm like, who has all this money to just buy cash? But it's lines of credit against their assets. And that's how you don't take all your money out of Google or Apple or whatever, stocks you have your money in.
Look, be that as it may, I just couldn't see buying a $200 million house, man. That is crazy when you think about it. That is a fifth of a billy. That's crazy. And I saw the house, and I know you got to see it from the inside. You look at it from the outside, you go, that looks like a silo. It doesn't look like some nice, extravagant house. I'm sure inside it's all high-tech and a whole nine, and Beyonce's pictures everywhere. I'm quite sure about that. But $200 million, you see the house, you go, that don't look like no $200 million house to me. I don't know. We need a tour of that house. But shout out to Jay-Z and Beyonce, man. You can't be mad at them. Those that can do. I'm just saying. Fantastic show tonight, y'all. Absolutely amazing. Got to give you guys props again. You guys are on a roll. The show is on a roll, and like I said, it's primarily because of you all with the phone calls and the content that you send me 24/7. Lala is sending me a bunch of content literally as we speak to be in the show for the next few days here. So I love when you send me content that I can use inside my upon further review. And sometimes I pull topics of conversation from the content you send me. So please continue. Good luck. God bless. Gone. Tomorrow, I told you, we will do that musical show. We'll call it the Heat 16 or something. I'll come up with a name or something. But in the meantime and in between time, I want you to keep it on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Be good.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Welcome to our Wednesday. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The only arrest at the Miami federal courthouse Monday, other than former President Trump, was of a protester who charged this motorcade. Dominic Santana, a Cuban-American retiree, said that he was there to stand